Here is Palo Alto, California, located about 30 miles south of San Francisco. Palo Alto is a city of 28,000 people, a growing residential town, proud of its many beautiful homes, and proud of its reputation of being a good place to live and a good place to bring up a family. There are modern schools for its children. Its commercial district consists of busy and up-to-date concerns. Many people know Palo Alto as the home of Stanford University. And the Hoover Memorial Library honors a famous son. But more and more, Palo Alto is becoming known because it offers so many excellent facilities for leisure time activity of old and young alike. Like many cities throughout the country, it has long been aware of the recreational need of its families and has provided playgrounds, craft centers, and areas for sports. But Palo Alto is unique in one respect, in its community center. In this group of buildings, a series of gifts from Mrs. Lewis Stern function additional recreation projects. These include a children's theater, the only tax-supported children's theater operating on a year-round schedule in the United States. The Palo Alto Children's Theater has become an established part of the lives of children and their families in the community. Familiar words in Palo Alto are
time to get ready for story acting at the Children's Theater.
I made it in my puppet class at the Children's Theater.
Will you usher for the show this Saturday at the Children's Theater?
That's the sound we want
For a radio show from the Children's Theater.
We can record this program at the Children's Theater.
Yes, this is the Palo Alto Children's Theater, playing a vital part in its community life. There is fun and learning for its children in the rehearsal hall. In the costume room, children have the fun of dressing up. And they acquire knowledge of materials and design. In the workshop, they gain experience with tools, color, and the various processes of construction. Cooperation, skills, responsibility are developed backstage. The Children's Theater provides leisure time activity that can be enjoyed by children and parents together. Fathers build sets with their sons. Mothers, daughters, sisters, all work together, creating costumes in the theater sewing room. In many allied ways, too, there is specific service by the Children's Theater to the community at large. A local radio station representative tells a family that their tape-recorded letter, just received from overseas, may be heard at the Children's Theater. There, played on theater equipment, the family enjoys this personal communication. Help with problems of stage makeup or any phase of play presentation is often sought and received by leaders of youth groups, church associations, and other civic organizations. The theater answers numerous requests for play titles or sources of manuscripts, and specific aid is given in solving production problems. There is cooperation between the theater and the Palo Alto Juvenile Court. This allows young offenders to serve sentences of specified hours of work at the Children's Theater. Social reactions are studied by higher education students. And constant effort is made to solve social problems. All this is the Palo Alto Children's Theater, a program that has constantly grown to meet the needs of an expanding community. A program made possible by an awareness on the part of the city government to finance such a project for the welfare of its young citizens. Children's Theater can be a part of your recreation, too, for its beginning in Palo Alto was very simple. It started in 1932 in the old community house. Here in this ordinary social hall, with no stage but just a large room that had to be rearranged for each of the many activities it accommodated, a young woman with an idea and a dream gathered a small group of boys and girls to put on children's plays. This young woman, Hazel Glaister Robertson, believed theater provided the ideal activity for all-round growth of the child. It embodied the principle of learning by active doing. It fostered individual development of the kind which makes for democratic social living. And it offered opportunity for self-expression in the creative arts. Rehearsal of the play and setting of the stage often had to take place simultaneously, but limited facilities did not limit the aims. For Hazel Glaister Robertson envisioned a year-round program, providing opportunity for all interested to participate in any phase of indoor or outdoor theater activity. Local enthusiasm furthered the project, for it could not have existed without volunteer help. Costumes were made and fitted in numerous Palo Alto homes. Interested citizens helped by adapting favorite stories and writing scripts. Loyal workers assembled finery of other years for costumes. Parents and friends brought household items to be used as props. They made stage furniture and set pieces in home workshops, then transported them to the scene of the play. An advisory board was appointed to work out ways and means of providing funds, for at this time the theater was not financed by the city and had to be self-supporting. It could spend only the money it took in. Box office receipts were supplemented by funds from fashion shows, rummage sales, donations, and silver teas. Finances were limited, but with the aid and support of its citizens, Palo Alto now had a functioning children's theater. In 1933, Mrs. Lewis Stern presented the city with a new theater building, the first structure of Palo Alto's present community center. Here, both the adult theater group and the children's theater could expand their programs. Working in a real theater building, it was possible to care for many more participants. Plays with much larger casts could be rehearsed on the full-size theater stage. At the same time, a different age group of children could be working in the theater's rehearsal hall. There was now, in the new building, an adequately equipped workshop. There, adult theater members and crews from the children's group could build and prepare stage sets. A professional switchboard and equipment were available. All this made quality production possible. And in quarters of its own on the second floor of the new building, children's theater direction and management could be organized. There it had an office and a much-needed storage room for costumes, properties, and equipment. These facilities now allowed the director to plan a long-term program for the greatly increased participation and attendance. Financing became even more a problem, for in the new theater building, the theater still had to be self-supporting. The need for volunteer help was greater. A summer schedule of classes was offered in story acting. Clay modeling and puppetry. Costume design and stagecraft. These classes were taught by volunteers, and the fee charged augmented the theater income. Also, a 50 cents per year membership fee was required of all participants in theater activities. At this time, the staff budget allowed nominal salaries for the director and one assistant, also several part-time paid assistants. The rapid expansion of the theater program was made possible by volunteers, service groups, and WPA assistance. Drawing children from all social and economic levels, children's theater, in less than 3 years, had become well established in the recreational life of Palo Alto, offering all groups opportunity for learning and self-expression. Mrs. Lewis Stern, with her interest in children and their welfare, recognized the value of this program for productive use of leisure time. She realized its need for a separate building to better serve more children. And in 1936, Mrs. Stern generously gave the city its own children's theater, adding this unit to the present community center. At the same time, the City Council, appreciating the worth of children's theater to the community, assumed financial support of its operation through the City Recreation Department. Housed in its own building with adequate space, equipment, and financing, the Palo Alto Children's Theater became a hub of activity for the city's youth. There is always something going on at the Children's Theater. 6 days a week throughout the year, there is something for children to do at the theater. Activities that offer social and educational opportunities to all interested in participating in any phase of its broad program, which includes sometime during the year many special interests not primarily associated with theater. Play tryouts are regular occurrences. And if a child does not receive a part in his first effort, there will be another tryout in the next few weeks. This building is the children's own, where they can be at home and feel free to touch or handle its equipment, gaining experience through its operation or use. In this building, the child finds a contemporary group in which he can learn to adapt himself socially, beyond the protected limits of home or school. At the same time, he learns adjustment to the group and enjoys the pleasure and responsibility of participating in a community project, preparation for good citizenship and successful social living in adult years. The Children's Theater houses not merely the special activity of seeing and being in plays, it houses a child's world of his own in which he can mingle with his contemporaries and among them find and enjoy self-expression. Adequate physical plant allows more activities for all age groups, from pre-kindergarten to young adults of high school years. Doll sewing for 5- and 6-year-olds. Toy symphony. Creative dramatics. Dance groups for young children. And for young adults. A puppet workshop. Backstage craft now functions the year round. And there is always a play in the process of being costumed, constant opportunity to develop skill in sewing and to learn about color, design, and period styles. In its own theater building, members of the child audience learn self-reliance and independence. House management is carried on by children. Responsible office help is developed. Adequate plant and equipment raise the standard of production to interest and challenge the older theater members. Junior players learn to produce their own shows. And junior players, too, are valuable assistants for productions with younger children. Many young people who come to the theater regularly have never been in a play, but there they have developed their interests and they have found companionship in its surroundings. a group gathers about the theater's record player, or to fill teenagers' need to just talk. Some children find the periodic house cleanings more fun than appearing on stage. With all these facets to its program, the Children's Theater has never lost sight of a primary aim: to create a love of the beautiful by means of drama and its associated arts. In the intimate, attractive auditorium of their own building, countless Palo Alto children have found enchantment, beauty, adventure, stimulating imaginations sometimes lost in this scientific and factual age. The theater recognizes the cultural need for presenting to child audiences the best-loved fairy and folk tales, stories, classics, a heritage of the past the modern child might not otherwise find time to know. From its inception, the Palo Alto Children's Theater has never ceased to grow in number of participants and program offered. To serve more and more children and to provide them as wide a variety of training and experience possible, new activities were added. Motion picture production. The theater's first film was Titian, the Boy Painter. Complete cooperation from schools, parents, and townspeople made this project successful. Recognized by the city school system as an educational experience, students who were in the mob scenes, as well as leads, technical crews, and their assistants, were excused from formal classes. All concerned in this project and those who watched its production learned far more than the process. To them, the Renaissance, its manners, costumes, and mode of life, became a living reality. Students later translated this into schoolwork. Radio workshop production. 3 groups of radio players are busy producing weekly programs for regularly scheduled broadcasts from 2 stations. Besides training and experience in this medium, the radio workshop focuses attention on the need for better speaking voices and reading ability. An outlet for self-expression, it also provides for participation in a closely coordinated group where cooperation is of the utmost importance. The scope of the theater has been vastly enlarged with the addition of motion picture and radio production to its program. Trouping. This is a highlight in the young actors' experience, and they enjoy taking their theater to nearby communities. An overnight trip to the state capitol provided the first train and hotel experience for some members of the group. Also, conversation for weeks after. Television. Experimental performances in this new field prove the Palo Alto Children's Theater ready to bring good entertainment to children in their homes. A generation of children has grown up in the Palo Alto Children's Theater, justifying the belief that promoting good citizenship is the theater's most important contribution to the community which supports it. In the fiscal year 1949-50, Palo Alto spent $13,967 to maintain and operate its children's theater. This is 19 1/5% of the city's total yearly recreation budget. Palo Alto spends approximately 7% of its tax dollar for recreation. 1 1/3% of its tax dollar supports the Children's Theater as a part of the city recreation program. The cost per capita, based on 25,000 population, is less than 56 cents a year per person. Sources of children's theater revenue return to the city are receipts from its box office, money received for rental of equipment and facilities, and registration fees for class or activity participation of $1 to $2 per year. This income returned to the city has increased each year proportionately to the amount expended. The fiscal year ending June 1950 marks 14 years of a tax-supported children's theater in Palo Alto. 14 years which have justified the faith of Hazel Glaister Robertson in theater for children, and the community's wholehearted support of that faith and the project which grew with the city. Again and again, newcomers to Palo Alto have come to the theater with their children and told Mrs. Robertson,
"We're here to see you because practically everyone I've talked with in Palo Alto regarding my son has given me the same answer, the Children's Theater. In fact, all Palo Alto seems to agree that this is the place for him to develop a variety of interests and grow up an all-around sort of person." You know, since we've moved here, I've been told that a great number of families come to live in Palo Alto just because of its splendid recreation program and advantages to children.
June 1950 marked 14 years of children's theater incorporated in the general municipal recreation program of Palo Alto. Specific administration of the children's theater is in the hands of its director and founder, Hazel Glaister Robertson, who has served under the city's General Recreation Commission. The Community Center and Recreation Commission is appointed by the City Council. These commissioners represent taxpayers who are interested in recreation, and they form a policy-making body which appoints a superintendent to carry out its policies and general administration of the total recreation program. This consists of general recreation, adult dramatics, children's theater, junior museum, and the municipal swimming pool. The Children's Theater Director and its advisory board make and carry out the specific policy of its program, assisted by a technical director, assistant director, secretary and part-time workers, and volunteers. But it takes more than adequate financing and capable administration to successfully operate a program such as the Palo Alto Children's Theater, for this program could not function without volunteer aid. Too much cannot be said about the need and the great service of volunteers, the mothers and friends who come to work in the theater wherever needed, who take home laundry, sewing, or typing to be done in spare hours. Only the help of innumerable pairs of hands and the steps of many feet make possible the handling of large casts. Without many hours of volunteer help, it would be impossible to produce shows with 70 to 100 participants, or to include the many special activities related to children's theater. Continued cooperation of schools, such as their distributing in classrooms notices of theater activities, has been of great aid. Constant civic goodwill and interest have fostered the development of the children's theater program. Responsive theater appeals to Palo Alto citizens has always been more than gratifying. Typical of this community cooperation is the Palo Alto May Day celebration, which includes a city-sponsored parade. And at the community center, the crowning of a school-elected May Queen and children's theater pageant. The Children's Theater, too, has always adapted its program to allow maximum use of facilities for adult interests. Stage and lobby are cleared to make way for meetings and for civic groups. Helping set up the area, children gain an awareness of various local activities, such as the Film Society, which projects cinema art in the Children's Theater building. Pioneering in a tax-supported theater for children, by children, the Palo Alto Children's Theater has won international as well as national acclaim. Educators, recreation leaders, social workers have come from numerous foreign countries and all sections of the United States to study its organization and see it in action. It has been the subject of stories and articles in many and varied national publications. But most important is the feeling of countless children's theater members now taking their places in adult life.
Hi, Bill. What are you doing back here?
Can't get away from the children's theater, I see.
No, I want to find out about a couple of filters for my camera.
One thing about the Children's Theater, I sure learned a lot there.
And we sure had a lot of fun learning it.
That's why I'm counting on you both to help me start my children's theater the moment I graduate.
Yes, this is the Palo Alto Children's Theater, for children, by children. During the theater calendar year ending June 30th, 1950, 62 performances entertained an audience of 12,000. Total participation in theater activities was over 56,000. Over 56,000 units of service, which cost the city less than $14,000. Palo Alto has established the worth of children's theater in a community recreation program, and a community which serves its youth builds a better community for the future.